Okay, so the third game from the finals are going to be, well, it's going to be played on Watering Hole. It's going to be an eggy war between Set and Ra. So Shelty gonna be playing Ra, Joe Set. I mean, like, doesn't have to be any kind of advantage for either of them. I'll be maybe slightly favoring Ra because of the better booming potential. So I'm thinking that Ra will be having slightly easier game. Well, it could be. Not going to be like entirely all that set in stone. As you can see right now, Joe is gonna be using his vision aggressively, and the reason for that is because he wants to be going somewhere next to his opponent and steal his hunt, I'm expecting. Seems like a pretty solid idea how to proceed right now from now on. And in this game, and of course so far we are looking at Shelty discovering quite a solid gold mine and also a hunt right next to it, so he's gonna be quite happy with this. Also sees that the water is gonna be coming quite far away, so probably some easy wall in here. And while the gold is slightly tricky, it probably is not going to be that difficult for him, considering the fact that he's against another Egyptian. And while it is still set, I mean, like, sets usually don't shift against an eggy. That's usually not what they do. They might be just doing something a bit different, like, I don't know, shifting some kind of siege towers later on some front TC or whatever like that, or rather back TC. Oh, depends what they want to do. Now, Joe is gonna be making right now mining camp on the long side of the gold. Nice. Nice indeed. And it's gonna be the same for Shelty. So both of them are gonna be doing it by the textbook, how it should be done. Because this is definitely not what everybody is gonna be doing in every game. Though of course this is the most efficient way to do it for this reason exactly. Moving the villages in between, and they're just gonna be just turning back and forth. So the most efficient way how to get there. Now you can see the differences in the build orders already slightly. Joe is gonna be at already 5 villages on food. His opponent is gonna be at 5 as well, but he's already going with 3 on gold. Whereas there's gonna be so far there are gonna be only 2. One is gonna be building houses, and that's about it, at least so far. So let's check what the scouting is gonna be giving as information back home. I'm definitely looking at the gold already here in the corner with the hunt as well, but much more importantly, just the soul gold in the corner on Watering Hole. That's usually a winning victory in the lottery. So congratulations, Joe. That's gonna be something that might be really helping you out in this map and in this matchup. The second gold all the way to the bottom, also quite nice, and I'm liking this opportunity for trading. Just imagine markets here, and the trading into this TC, even into the top TC, you can see it's gonna be even better. That's an excellent trade for him right there, and it's completely uninterrupted, because you can see a short wall in there and completely safe. Whereas for the opponent, it's gonna be kind of the opposite. He can also position the docks, the markets here to the top side and go into the bottom TC. But yet again, look at how disrupted it is going to be. There's a passage through here. He is gonna be having quite a hard time walling this off as well. He's gonna probably have to wall it about like there. So the trade is just inherently better for Joe with how the map spawns. So congratulations on that one. And it's gonna be certainly in the late game quite a bit of an edge for him. You can see it's gonna be House and Maror, Hit Points, Relic, Shingles of Steel. He's still gonna be waiting for the second one until it was already picked up, which we so far don't exactly see. At least not in Shelty's base, who is right now empowering what he can. And he already does have the Monumental Villages prepared. So it seems like it's gonna be fairly standard build order. And I'm just kinda curious if it's gonna be 2 TC or 3 TC. Faster heroic in there. Because, I mean, like, this TC at the back is just inviting for that. He's not gonna be getting a gold mine with it, even though the gold is not too far away. So it's not that much of a critical issue for him. As for example, the one to the top, as you have noticed a bit earlier, is also rather nice. So he should be able to protect them. But overall, just the map is excellent for Joe with everything that it takes. And with his experience, and considering that he's an eggy main as opposed to Shelty, then I do dare to say that Joe should be knowing what to do with this map. He's playing the set. I was saying a bit earlier that there might be having more chances in kind of like boom war, but yeah, well, that might not be exactly playing all that much of a role. You're gonna be seeing. I'm gonna be really curious if Joe is gonna be trying to use the enemy rain. So far he's gathering plenty of gold, so it almost feels to me that he might be trying to do so. Yeah, he's gathering that for Shaduf and just basically just dropping as many farms as possible right after. Can see he's gonna be even a bit faster maybe with the advance than his opponent. No, maybe, definitely. But maybe with the farms in there. So yeah, old Rhino needs to be making a space around the tower for a few more houses to be built. Otherwise, another gold mine through bottom side for Shelty potentially, though it's gonna be quite a hard one, considering he's gonna have to defend quite far away from his base, somewhere around here. And the front TCs, they seem to be in pretty much like one line, and up for the picking for whoever wants which one. This one to the top seems to be slightly better for Joe because of this gold and overall the position, also protecting, for example, this path into his base, whereas this TC for Shelty is kind of like not doing too much. I mean, like, there's this gold, but it's still wide open from the middle. It's not really protecting this. So tactically wise, I'm thinking that Joe's TC is better. Not by too much, but it is. So apparently this is gonna be moving ahead for the TC first. Yes, for the TC. So Joe is gonna be coming aggressively, and it's kind of something that he does really often. He really likes to be doing that, or... yeah, it was kind of looking slightly interesting. Joe was slightly weirdly moving around. Apparently he's gonna be going for the TC first. And does he still have enough gold for the Sharuf and Ptah later? Sharuf for Shelty so far. He's gonna be coming for the back TC, so that's similar gameplay. But yeah, of course, as I said a bit earlier and kind of started mentioning, Joe really likes to be playing aggressively when he's feeling confident. So you can just basically tell by going for the front TC here that he's feeling really quite strong in this matchup, and that he's not gonna be losing this front TC. I mean, like, it's not a bad approach altogether, because he knows that the ride is gonna be quite long before he's gonna be aggressive. He's gonna be going for like at least second TC into the fast heroic, so he does have the time for that. So it's a correct approach, but still, plenty of players wouldn't be going for the front one, would be going for the back one on the account of it just being safe and really good with the gold right next to it. But Joe is the type of player who wants to be taking risks and kind of slightly showing off that his confidence is exactly on a high level in this matchup, and he believes himself to be the favorite. Well, let's see if it's going to be true, or if Shelty is going to be showing him otherwise, because so far in the finals he definitely is. Quite frankly, Joe has been a favorite in the finals, I have to say, and especially on past performance in different tournaments, where these players have already met as well. So far quite a bit of a surprise, Joe's the Shelty's performance here, but definitely nice to see that he has been able to somehow account for what he has seen in previous tournaments and improving on that, and apparently showing a bit better skill in using different gods than maybe Joe. Nonetheless, yeah, still in the just kind of like the middle of the best of 7 here, so definitely can be going all kinds of different places still. And definitely possibility, as plenty of gold is still being gathered, and unfortunately we're not seeing any kind of farms. I'll be actually really thinking that I repeated it a few times that when you are playing against Sarah, you know the rain is coming. And for example, when you are right now playing Set and you do have Ptah and you do have Shadow, I just kind of fail to see a reason why to play differently and not take advantage of the enemy rain, because the rain is still 50% enemy and light villager farming rate. Like, it's still a huge bonus, and if you're just gonna be throwing it away, I mean, like, you're giving, basically by not using the rain, you're giving the opponent more of an advantage, because if you don't use it, he's right now having basically 95% bonus, but if you use it in similar way as him, then you're giving him only 45% bonus, so cutting it in half. Don't know, probably should be slightly explored into the build orders when you are playing against Ra. Because I mean, like, frankly, Ra cannot do anything all that much different. Is Ra going to be classical age fighting you? Not really. He can be surprising you quite obviously with something like Sekhmet Rush. That can happen, and that can be rather problematic, sure. But for that you should be scouting, and as I said, you should be damn well capable of scouting with all the animals. So I'm thinking that really Set is like the best setup god to be using the rain as well, but nonetheless, that's not what Joe decided to do. He decided to be stealing the front TC as well, and just basically control the map altogether, as he's already moving to the bottom for the gold mine and just waiting for the market to be built there as well. And he's going a real hardcore 4 TCs. Alright. Talking about confidence here for Joe. Now that is a quite close to maybe even slightly overconfidence, but let's see. Because right now, obviously, Joe is gonna be extremely slow to be advancing anywhere. And maybe Shelty could be using the... Oh, he's actually advancing through Sekhmet this time around. That's kind of fun. Kind of what I was talking about. That could be punishing to Joe. Especially with the setup that he's right now using, because he's obviously gonna be quite late into the next age. He's gonna be getting nefties, but overall, he's gonna be spent on his economy. So even though he did manage to sneak the nefties there in pretty good timing, then I cannot do see certain problems here and there, because this could be very easily resulting into some really problematic shifting sense from Shelty at this point. Nonetheless, and hey Iker, welcome to the stream. The first matchups, the first 2 raid that we have seen, that was on Vinland Saga. It was Gaia versus Oranos, and the very first game that we had last week, that was Isis on Anatolia from Joe, and Shelty was playing... Shelty was... What was he playing? I right now don't recall exactly. If he was playing a Norse there? I really don't know. I cannot exactly recall what was in the very first game that we streamed last week already. Nonetheless, we are not gonna be seeing any kind of extra scarabs, so this is a really only interesting choice. So what does he actually want from that? If he's not going for shifting sands with rocks. He's gonna be getting good chariot archers. Good catapults and siege ram, or the ram of the west wind. Siege towers therefore. Or slingers. Interesting. Let's see what actually comes out of this, because so far it definitely isn't going to be anything fancy. And if it's not gonna be anything fancy, then Joe is probably gonna be getting away with what he's so far doing. So right now he's gonna be dropping a Migdal Stronghold and Siegeworks right next to the right side, and I'm definitely liking how quickly he's jumping on the water, because he fully knows that this TC is in range. Definitely will be with Enable Oxyvelas in range, and therefore he needs to be doing what he can as soon as possible to keep that at bay. As you can see, Shelty gonna be caught off guard, sending units for a bit of radiant and just basically army on his doorstep. Yeah, well, surprise. And of course, quite nice tactical walling by Joe, definitely something that you like to see, as it's gonna be giving him options how to defend, and of course, making it a whole lot harder for the opponent to really kind of like surprise him in any kind of way. And see you, Kilty. Thanks for stopping by today. And well, what else are we gonna be seeing? Let's gonna check on the economy. I'm interested in that slightly. So Hendaks, Shaft Mine and Plow. For the blue player, it's gonna be Hendaks and Pickaxe. Well, obviously he doesn't have Plow yet. He's still having even plenty of hunt available. Even the Hyenas could be useful, as the markets are coming up exactly where we expected for the same, or for both players. And does Shelty properly know that? No. Oh. Yeah. He doesn't know that there is a passage too. That might be costing him quite dearly. Right now he's discovering the back TC with the chariot. Is he gonna be... Oh, he does have right now finally the scarabs on auto queue. There's gonna be shift onto the back TC. Unfortunately, gave himself up way too quickly. So I'm thinking right now Joe is gonna be already expecting it. No, already expecting it. Joe is probably expecting it from the moment he advanced Sekhmet. It's not that much of a surprise, I'm thinking, from that time. So apparently Doc's even on the left side, and this is... No, I don't know if it's passable. No, shouldn't be. I don't think it should be passable. So it's probably gonna be fine, but nonetheless, you can see the hyena on the right flank, and the army is getting definitely quite strong for Joe at this point. Let's switch into the point of view of both of them with our observer mode. And well, of course, you can see Scarabs moving ahead. So in the end, probably not even shifting sense to the backside. So right now, this is gonna be Joe going for the back gold, and he does have even Shaft Mine finally right now researched. There's gonna be interesting battle, and it almost seems like not a bad opportunity for even Ancestors. If he had a few siege weapons. Right now they're finally coming. It's gonna be first one, second one under construction, and the Scarabs gonna be sneaking all the way here onto the town center with plenty of villages. Actually 20 of them, trying to gather something right next to it. Yeah, he's gonna be having to... He's gonna be actually really fighting them. Is it gonna be working? I don't think so. It might be probably slightly better to try to repair the TC and send a few units back like the chariots, because obviously right now he can be there fairly quickly. Yeah, there's no idea, no way he's gonna be able to survive this. But shifting sands are already in, and he's gonna be shifting that somewhere next to the army. So that's gonna be shifting sands gone from Joe, and it definitely needed, because otherwise the TC would be gone, and he really doesn't want to be having any kind of like shenanigans like those. And obviously this is gonna be now Shelty trying to shift exactly from the battle. Or is it from the battle? No, 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 it isn't. It wasn't from the battle all the way to the top, and, well, the Scarab. Only one, but it probably is going to be still enough, as the Pharaoh is in to help against the Ancestors, but nonetheless, they're gonna be still a bit of an issue. As the army from Blue is gonna be taking its sweet time before they're gonna be able to get back in full strength, but they definitely need to be coming there, as the Mercenaries might not be exactly good enough. Though, in combination with all of this, it just kind of might be. And I was slightly surprised by actually the siege works. Maybe it would be interesting to even drop a Migdol here, just to make sure something goes up. But it seems to me this is gonna be already failing, because this really needed at least 2 Scarabs to take the TC down confidently. And you can see that even the Mercenaries are gonna be able to kill this with all the Chariot Archers already back from Joe. Doesn't have all that many ups, but it's gonna be well enough and good enough, with Shelty also having the same up, but unfortunately the TC is gonna be still standing at about 363 hit points at the very end. So this didn't work out at all. You can see Villager's gonna have to be going back home. Bit of raiding party still by Joe, killing a few Ancestors, and let's see what he's gonna be doing next, because otherwise he really just doesn't have the population still, and therefore the only chance could be like Horus. But unfortunately Joe is also advancing, and while Horus about here will be problematic for Joe, it might not be all that enough, because the fortified town center is gonna be also eating a lot of hit points. Right now even Masons are getting researched, and yeah, well, of course he's gonna be all killed, most of the army for Shelty destroyed, and only the villages with Pharaoh are gonna be safe all the way to the top. So Tornado is in, gonna be right now destroying, choosing to actually destroy the temple and the siege works and the Migdol instead of, for example, TC, which is definitely quite a clever choice, as the TC would be kind of hard to destroy. I think a Tornado is having 4000 hit points damage. Has a basically 100 crush damage and 20 hack damage for every second. So like 2000 and plus. Let's see that properly. 100 crush and 20 hack damage. So you're basically having 2000 crush damage. And it's also having 400 hack damage. So like 2500 damage, something along those lines. But the hack damage is also well defended by buildings, obviously. 63%, so it's not that fully. So like 2200 damage or something along those lines. Unless it's counted slightly differently than basically DPS. As the Migdol Stronghold number 2 is gonna be of course finished, but obviously with the first one destroyed, this is gonna be already quite a solid blow into Shelty's gameplay, and Joe should be having a bit of a chance how to finish his own, and of course right now push forward, because he's not losing too many units. He's still having the Chariot Archers, the high population limit, and therefore we can just afford to be losing more and more, even though Shelty is trying to do some guerrilla warfare to the left side, unfortunately not properly shift clicking into the Migdol in there. With this Migdol finished right in front of his face, it's looking slightly unlikely that anything is gonna be happening right now from Shelty, because he's just not even moving through the middle. He's not even gonna be allowed to do so. Can see how well right now Joe is prepared for everything, as Shelty is gonna be casting Tornado, trying to suck up at least the whole army, but even that's not gonna be working out. It's kinda cool effect. Now it's sucking up the water. Yeah, the developers thought even of that. This is actually a really cool effect. You don't see that too often, because usually it's cast in some kind of clear moment and clear place, for example on a TC. That's mostly where it's being cast. Well, nonetheless, exactly as he expected, this is gonna be resulting into Shelty's resign. And, well, Joe's kinda maybe slightly greedy play did pay off, and he really knew what he can be affording, and I'm thinking it was also partly because he just kinda knows Shelty. They are playing with each other very often, and therefore he knew what he can afford, and it definitely didn't seem like that he was struggling in any kind of moment all that much. What I was expecting from Shelty is that he's gonna be having slightly better build order for the Scarabs and dropping with like 2 or 3 on the back TC. And if he did, that might have been something, because that TC would be melting really quickly. He will be probably killing this one as well, together with plenty of houses. So maybe that could have been some kind of idea. And maybe that was what Shelty was aiming for, but it just didn't work out. Somehow. But well, interesting game, and Joe is gonna be right now making the finals interesting. We're taking the first one and putting it on the board here. So Joe at 3,500 with the score, well, that's quite a commanding lead, let's say. Especially on the military, and we're gonna be getting there apparently. Otherwise, the echo fairly similar for both. 3-4 difference there, so it seems like slightly better for Joe. Obviously, he had the more TCs even through the rain. And on the military count, well, that was way more units for Joe. And also, in the end, way more killed. And the Rise advances into Heroic Age and Mythical Age, also fairly similar. Now we could have seen the way different impact of the god powers. And not only them. You can see the extra TCs, what kind of better boost it gave to Joe. And even though, as we have been talking about it last game, Shelty might be in a position to maybe out-tech his opponent, Joe just didn't let that happen at all. I was just kind of thinking if Shelty is gonna be trying, if he went for standard Hat, or maybe he could have been going for faster Mythic in there at that point. With the 2 DCs, maybe even some kind of faster Titan. Even though against the Shifting Sands it's gonna be always Tricky and Tornado. So at least like faster Mythic into Son of Osiris. Maybe that could have done something. That's, for example, something that Magyar was good at. But yeah, well, decided to be going for fun with Scarabs. Even at his P here, he was nowhere close to Joe. And basically this is already what we know of, but in the middle here, it's not all that telling, because there's plenty of animals for Joe still here, I think, if I remember correctly. And therefore it doesn't have to be meaning that Shelty is too much back. At any rate, GG.